Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe SI Talk und bei mir heute wieder ein Interview und zwar mit David Suda. Wir kennen ihn von einer anderen Firma, ich kenne ihn schon seit 10, 15 Jahren. Heute sprechen wir über American Future Fuels und es geht vor allem um Uran. Uran ist das heißeste Commodity, was wir derzeit eigentlich haben. Nicht nur, dass es strahlt richtig, der Preis ist eigentlich durch die Decke gegangen und deswegen sind auch Uranaktien wieder im Fokus. Auch wenn man sagen muss, es gibt gar nicht so viele Aktien. Also eigentlich ist momentan der Trend nun sehr verhalten. Früher, wenn ich mich erinnern kann, vor 10, 15 Jahren waren gleich mal 100 Uranexplorer da. Diesmal schaut es noch relativ überschaubar auf. David, thank you for your time. I said in my German introduction, it's about uranium. Uranium is the hottest commodity what we have at the moment. I'm a little bit surprised. Normally, when we have this kind of run, and I will show the people now how the uranium price is really going to the roof. Normally, when this happened, is we see hundreds of exploration companies coming up immediately, and this time I don't see too much. It's very quiet from my understanding. I know exactly. I was in the first boom when we 2008 to 2009 when we're going up to 140. Everybody looking about uranium and we have also this the decline, supply, the demand change, and nobody knows where the power plants, nuclear power plants get already stuff. But it's fantastic environment, I must say, for the uranium price. So what was the reason for your company to put the focus on this portion, and how you want or how to get or take the advantage from this environment what we have at the moment?
Thanks, Joe. It's a pleasure to see you again. And sometimes we've talked before about other commodities and companies that have good management teams and good assets. And we scratch our heads on how do we get people excited about the commodity, right? Because it's been pretty tough in the resource space for quite some time. So for once in a long time, I feel lucky. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be smart, right? And timing is everything. And so I feel very fortunate to be in an environment where the investors are waking up, to answer your point about how usually when this happens, the stocks start to rip and there's all kinds of new companies coming to market, and it's actually pretty confusing for investors. How do I get involved? The FOMO kicks in. I feel a little bit like this time I was watching actually somebody be interviewed on in Davos as part of the conference, and a new term I never heard that I think somewhat applies here: fogey, not FOMO, but fogey, fear of getting in.
Okay.
I think a lot of investors have been beat up. So, and the uranium space has really been dormant for over a decade.
Yeah, but is there a reason, especially why, since October, or I would say since this fall or last fall, the uranium price going up like this? Is there some specific reason why it's happened, or is it?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't speak for every market participant, but my analysis is that people are waking up to the fact that this is a macro supply demand issue. And these are the best setups because this is a market that has a commodity that has a real application. That application already exists, and I think because when in the last run up, it was a very aggressive spike in the price. And then the unfortunate event in Fukushima had everybody scared. But the problem of supply and demand didn't go away. The reality is that there simply isn't enough uranium in the market to supply the demand that exists and also the demand that's projected. So for me, this is the best setup. It's a simple one to understand. Um, you know, we have a backdrop globally now where we're trying to decrease carbon emissions. There are, political reasons for this in different countries. You have countries like France that have relative to the rest of the world, disproportionate amount of their energy, their electric power being produced from nuclear. In the United States, and that's where we're focused. So that's what I'll focus on. There are utilities that are buying uranium from countries like Russia, and you'll notice that just recently Congress passed a bill to ban the import of Russian uranium. There's still some work to do there, but I think ultimately this is a very simple, fact of supply and demand. So the fact that this company has an asset with it's a large uranium deposit in a country that hasn't produced uranium and now has for political reasons decided, strategic reasons decided that they must now produce their own uranium. So we're very happy to be with a historical resource of 18.9 million pounds. We're not trying to find the uranium. We're not. Our pitch is not that we're going to raise money and then we're going to go to a place that's prospective and we're going to drill and see if it's there. It's there. So, we're unlocking a vault, basically, of value in New Mexico, in a country that has now decided that it's time to be a producer again and supply itself with its own uranium for strategic reasons, which I love. I think the setup is great.
Okay. This is an old project. The drill it. I saw that's an unbelievable number of drills what you already done in this project. But what you must do to convert this from a historical resource in a 43-101 definition, and what are then the next plan then for coming to production?
Yes. So obviously, there is a great history of production in the United States. The United States uranium production is not small peas. So historically one of the biggest producers in the world, and 37% of the uranium that was produced in the United States is from the Grants Mineral Belt in New Mexico that we're in the middle of. We're on private land, which is really important, especially to people who saw, what the federal government in the U.S. has been able to do to stop mining in certain jurisdictions. The federal government, we feel we're protected from that type of value destruction because we're on private land. The resource that exists, the historical resource, I have to correct myself, that we're here to convert to a current 43-101 comes from a time when right next to our property, 100 million pounds was produced from the Pakwadi Jackpile mines, and we're less than 2 kilometers away from that. We're, I call us on the continuation of that trend. And there were two mining companies that were even producing in our deposits. And at the time, they did a lot of work, to drill a lot of holes, 3,500 holes to be exact, and over 300,000 meters. So today, we have to go and reconfirm that. That's, those are the regulatory requirements. And we're happy to go and have to drill, probably less than 100 holes to confirm that resource on 3,500 historical holes. There was a 43-101 that was done in 2014. If people pull up our presentation, it's a clickable link, and they can see that data has already once been worked through. And so for us to have this opportunity to do it in a economically and time-wise efficient manner is tremendous. We already drilled phase one to satisfy a portion of proving the historical data to our QP, so to our third-party geologist who is working with us to convert the 43101 resource that was historical to current. And we drilled 26 holes, and they came out a very good match for the historical data. So we have planned 3 phases. Bulk of the work is in the first 2 phases. So call it like, we're sort of halfway there. The information on the results from phase 1 is public. It's on our website. We've put out news releases, and also the results are available, so people can actually look at the numbers. And here in Q1, Q2 of this year, we're going to go and do a similar size and scope to verify that historical resource on another part of our property. So from the perspective of spending, say, less than $10 million to get to that 43101 on 18.9 million pounds, and then also having the opportunity to add significant pounds from data that has not been included previously in the historical resource is a huge opportunity.
When I see it on the presentation, 2 things are important for me. First is very shallow. So it's only 100, 120, 140 meter deep. So it's very easy to drill, and in cheap drilling, you don't go very deep. And the second is there's a area called St. Anthony, and this they have already no resource on it. Is it right?
Yeah, that's right.
But a lot of holes are drilled in the past there. So
yeah.
So this is then the potential to grow the resource.
That's the upside.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. The average grade was 0.17. What do you plan? Is it that you leach this project, or is it how to mine it as hard rock? What's the plan? Or what the
conventional
idea
method? Yeah, the conventional method for a deposit like this, and what's been done historically, is hard rock mining with milling. And because we're at the stage where we're so undervalued for where we are at the moment, our primary focus is to get that 43101, to show that we do have the pounds, that we can add more pounds, and then once we go into further studies like feasibility study, we're obviously going to look at a variety of different what I would call novel methods. Heap leaching would be one that we'll look at. At this moment, we feel that our mineralization, or the rock there, would be amenable to that. But again, that's preemptive. I think we can create a tremendous amount of value before we have to get to the point where we make those decisions.
And normally, this is when you, as a junior company, the most time is that you not bring it to a production, other companies stepping in and take over the whole project and bring it then to production. This is normal the way from the junior companies, but the valuation upside is on junior side much bigger than on the production side.
I think so, and we have to also, I think, be very. We have to treat this deposit with a lot of respect, with white gloves. Like we want to advance this in the best possible way, with the best possible methods, so that we can prepare a very nice package, which we could leverage. Either if who knows what happens, if it ends up being sold, or if we have to partner with somebody. It's never been a strong argument or proposition to go out and say, well, all we can do is what we do now, and then it's for sale, because I think you have to have the fortitude and the ability and the desire to create as much value as you possibly can with the asset that it is. And because of the quality of the asset, we'll obviously do whatever we can to make the most value for shareholders. So I'm not, in my mind, I'm not thinking about selling this project. In my mind, I'm doing everything possible to create as much value with it at this stage of our, late exploration towards development as possible.
Okay. On slide 4, there is a relative valuation slide compared to other companies. So, and we see that the average price, what American Future Fuel is paid for, is $1.23 per every pound uranium oxide. So what do you think is the right valuation? You have some production companies there and so on as comparable or as peer group. So, but what is really a fair number when you say, okay, the uranium market is hot, investors coming in, everybody knows that this is not a short bull market, it's a long bull market, and from the macro side on it. So what is do you think is a fair value per pound uranium oxide for a kind of company like you?
Well, it's funny because that's question is like, what do you think your share price is going to be?
Yes, but I ask it on a different way.
I know, but that's what you're asking, because the math works that way. The reason that we have that slide there is to show people that I feel for the quality of our deposit, we are undervalued. And then we would urge investors to go and do the work and understand what some of the other companies have, where the value is coming from. I mean, if you look at the top numbers there, we've got a company that's I don't have the presentation in front of me at the moment, but we've got our friends, for example, at Encore, who are in the $8 bracket, right? So they're producing and they have good assets. So do I think we're going to be in the next 18 months as we work towards having a 43-101 and adding a significant number of pounds from St. Anthony at 849? No, that's not fair to say. That would be, I would call, overly promotional. But there are some other companies out there who have, acquired pounds, whether they're from one property or from multiple properties that have advanced perhaps towards feasibility. And I don't think we're too far away from getting towards feasibility, right? We only have to drill a limited number of holes. I told you I think we can get our 43-101 and add a significant number of pounds somewhere inside of 18 months. So then that means the next step is to work towards feasibility. And, you see some numbers that are in multiples of our current valuation on EV per pound in the ground. So that's why I put that chart there, because people say, well, what should your stock price be? I say our stock price will be determined by what's happening in the market and also by, the quality of the work that we do, and also, very importantly, how good of a job we do marketing that and putting eyes on it. So right now, the reason I think we are at where we are on our historical resource, and of course, that's a really big and an important part. That's also why I don't want to make any major projections on our EV per pound, because it's on a historical resource. So until we actually have our 43-101, we can't really talk. But I am absolutely certain of one thing, and that is that we're grossly undervalued, and that with the quality of this asset, because it's on private land, and because, as you said, it's very shallow. Okay, we're for New Mexico, we're above the water table. This is also extremely important. We're away from some of the challenges that you can face as a company if you're near sort of any national parks or recreational interests. Even more importantly, cultural areas of significance. So I think that should set us apart, and we need to go out and tell the story, and we need to advance the asset and continue to make it more and more attractive, so that as we continue in this run up in uranium, we're attractive as either a partner or a takeout target.
Interesting for me is when I look at your share price, and then I take the uranium price next to them, and then I see, okay, you trade on the same level like in June, and in June the share price, the uranium price was only the half of them what its actual is. So your share price not really react on this higher uranium price. That's is surprising me.
Yeah, it's a well-kept secret, this company. And we're about to change that. I just you're speaking to me. I'm in Frankfurt at the end of a roadshow. This was the first real marketing stint that the company has done. We wanted to make sure that we could present investors with an investment case where we knew that we could get exploration permits. We knew that we could secure drillers, and then we knew that the first phase of drilling was going to make a lot of success vis-a-vis the historical results. So for us, this was a let's go out to the market with confidence. So we didn't make a big marketing push, and then when I get back to North America, that's when then the real marketing starts there. We did raise some money also, Joe, at the end of the year, in what I thought was a pretty tough market, and we did it at a price that hurt a little bit, but we did it because we wanted to bring in some institutional investors to our registry, which I think is really important for a company at this standpoint. We have to be able to fund phase two and make sure that we're not stuck looking for money. And of course, having institutional investors that are uranium focused is a strategic play because it's going to help us advance and grow the company. So, 27 cents was a tough price, and that's where we're trading. But I think we've got a great platform to move from here.
Okay. The last private placement was with 27 cent or what?
That's right.
Okay. And what was the size of the program, the private placement?
3.45 million.
Okay. I have here the slide of the shareholder structure here. So the mostly of them is retail, but 12% is Anacor. Is right?
Yes.
Okay. Is this companies from the past or are they strategic investors?
Encore is the source of the asset.
Okay. And they take then shares also for the asset. Okay, understandable. So so the plan for the next 12 months for this year is drilling, first phase two, then. What about is this that the whole year, the 26 hole, or you plan more for this year also from I don't know, geophysics or something like that?
We're gonna do some other work, but we want to be efficient with our capital. So it's quite possible that we only drill 26 holes. It's also possible that we drill fewer holes. The success of phase one was so good that we also don't want to go, we would love for our QP to allow us to drill fewer holes, spend less money, and spend less time to get to the 43-101. Phase one, I think, was, extremely positive, but of course we want to give our QP the information that they need in order to give us the 43-101 to convert from our historical resource. So at the same time, though, we've got other missions on the go, and one of them is adding the pounds from the data set that we have begun to acquire for St. Anthony. So that's going to be a really exciting piece of news flow here in the next 12 months. Working with that data, modeling it, and then once we effectively come up with another historical resource for St. Anthony, once we model that up, then we'll go through the same kind of process where we'll have to go and twin some holes and prove that data. So we've got this sort of like, basic block and tackle strategy to confirm pounds and add pounds and then confirm the pounds. And as we go, if we have a good market and we do a good job showing investors the opportunity, then of course we will be able to leverage that share price to do more.
The last resource calculation and the 43101 was 2014. So 2014 is not, for me, for my understanding, not really historical. But I know exactly that's the rules and so on, and you must prove it. But to be honest, is there really big difference between 2014 and now 24? That's only 10 years. So the world is not changing in these 10 years.
No, the uranium's not running away from the property. I look, Joe, we're very fortunate to have this situation where today to reproduce those 3,500 holes and all that drilling would cost an insane amount of money and further, even more importantly, time, right? So if somebody says to me, well, look, the regulations say you have to go and drill some holes to make everybody comfortable, and so that you can then really leverage this platform and grow. I'm okay with that, because if you just think of it's a fraction of the cost of finding uranium. So we're doing what we're supposed to do, what we have to do, and in the process we're also going to gain more knowledge, right? We're gonna drill around the edges, see if we can add some pounds too. We'll have the opportunity not just to twin some holes, but maybe in our phase 3 in the presentation, you can see there's we've outlined that we would, if we have the resources and we have the time, start to step out a little bit, drill around the edges, see if we can grow the pounds that way, and then of course we've got this opportunity to drill down through our horizon into the Westwater Canyon member, which was host to 400 million pounds in the grants. So that's like our blue sky story, right? If people are bored by the fact that we're just converting a historical resource and that we're adding pounds from data, then I can tell them that over the course of phase 2 and 3, we're going to let the drill spin a couple of times, go 100 meters deeper, and see if we can find some blue sky.
No, but it's historical. 2014 is not really historical for me. 1960 is, from I would say, historical, and then it's total different technology and everything, and also the rules were different. But 2014 was also a 43101 compliant resource. And sometimes I think it's understandable. That's the rules, and you must do this. But it cannot disappear. I would say. That's
why we're asking investors now to buy the stock, and that's why I'm buying the stock. You notice I've been filing as a buyer, as an insider, because I think it's too cheap. It's an opportunity, right? What's going to change from 2014 to when we drill these 50 or 75 holes that we need to drill to get to the 43101? We might add some pounds, which is great.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we are very confident, and I say that now with the hindsight of having drilled phase 1, which the twins were like, dead ringers for the historical holes. I have the benefit, and you have the benefit, because it's public, of knowing that, as you said, what's the difference between 2014 and now? Well, simply going through the motions to satisfy the regulations.
No, understandable. David, thank you for your time. Good luck also with the roadshow in Frankfurt or in Europe itself. And also good luck then when you go home and do your homework, what you must do. And good luck with everything. And hopefully next time when we talk when your share price is much higher. Then for me it's very surprising that uranium going to the roof and the stock is not moving. So it's
well, the more people we tell, the less likely that is going to stay that way. I can tell you that.
That's right. Thank you for your time. Good luck, and hopefully next time we see us in person.
Joe, as always, a real pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ja, das war jetzt ein erstes Interview für American Future Fuels. David Suda hat uns die Story kurz einmal mitgeteilt. Er ist jetzt momentan gerade auf Roadshow im deutschsprachigen Raum. Er sitzt gerade in Frankfurt. Kurze Story dazu. Es gibt eine historische Ressource von 2014, die hat 18,9 Millionen Pfund Uran. Das Projekt ist nur oberflächennahe, also nur die ersten 150 Meter. Suche ich gerade die richtige Grafik hier. Es sind 3500 historische Bohrlocher dort gebohrt worden mit 3000 Meter. Hier ist eigentlich die Ressourcenschätzung, das ist nicht inkludiert. Sie müssen jetzt, damit Sie diese historische Schätzung, die 2014 war, also nicht irgendwo in die 60er Jahre, 70er Jahre, 2014, das war damals schon eine 43101 konforme Studie, müssen sie jetzt teilweise trotzdem duplizieren, also nochmals bohren. Aber er sagt, der Positive ist, sie verstehen natürlich dann das Projekt auch besser, wenn sie selber bohren und so weiter, und sie können auch vielleicht diverse Unzen noch dazu bringen. Also vor allem hier in St. Anthony und so weiter ist natürlich ein Riesenpotenzial, nur was sie schöpfen können, und weiter unten ist vor allem das Blue Sky Potenzial. Die Region selber ist bekannt für ihr Uran. Es hat dort, glaube ich, 400 Millionen Pfund Uran haben sie dort, soweit ich mich richtig erinnern kann, dort rausgeholt aus der Erde. Die Aktionärstruktur ist interessant. Sie haben das Projekt von Enercor gekauft. Die sind jetzt der größte Aktionär mit 12%. Das Management, er selber kauft selber zu. Die Valuation ist insofern spannend. Hier haben wir ein paar Vergleichsunternehmen drinnen. Sie sind mit $1,23 pro Pfund bewertet, wenn wir die historische Bewertung haben. Aktuelle haben wir noch nicht, aber die historische Bewertung nehmen. Aber was spannend ist, der Aktienkurs ist eigentlich genau dort, wo eigentlich auch der Uranpreis oder im selben Preis Juni, Juli wie letztes Jahr, und der Uranpreis Juni, Juli letztes Jahr war halt nur um die 55, 56 Dollar. Jetzt sind wir bei $106 und die Aktie steht noch immer dort. Warum? Auch, hat er gesagt, ja, es kennt uns keiner. Wir sind einfach unbekannt, und deswegen müssen wir jetzt an dem Aktienkurs auch arbeiten, an der Bekanntheit arbeiten, damit die Leute uns in den Fokus kriegen, und dann ändert sich das natürlich mit dem Kurs auch selber. Er selber kauft auch zu. Das ist eigentlich die Story im Kurzen. Spannend, Uran ist heiß, ist wirklich heiß, und das ist eine der Aktien, die durchaus dann dementsprechend davon profitieren könnte. Das war's von American Future Fuels. Heute ist der 24. Jänner 2024. Ja, tschüss und Baba. Vierte. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.